Hello folks, I hope you're having a great time. Welcome to another episode of MidJourney in Architecture. In the previous episodes, we learned how to work with different versions, and I told you that you can use the previous versions of MidJourney and they all have their own specific characteristics, and we also learned how we can change those versions. When I've got the newest version as default, there is something activated for me that did not used to exist in the previous versions, which is called raw mode. Now, raw mode, what is that? Right, this mode, this option is usable in settings when you are using 5.01 version or higher. So if I click on version 5, you see that I have no access to it. So if your version is 5.1 or higher, you have access to this raw mode. Now let's talk about it. MidJourney, the AI that is defined, that is built into MidJourney, has some sort of a aesthetic technique, let's say, to increase in some situations the aesthetic measure of our image. So if you want that to happen, you need to activate raw mode. Right? So what it does, it first of all, as we said, it increases the aesthetic measure and it gives it styles, right? And that style will cause that you have more control over your image. For example, the same prompt I've written here, I used in the previous session. I'm going to click right and I'll copy it to make a new one. Imagine, and I'll paste my prompt and enter. As you see, the parameter is also manifested for us. So the parameter is -- style space raw. This is the parameter to activate raw mode. So the image gave me new pictures using raw mode. Let's open it in browser and see it with the main resolution. Very well. So if I were to compare this with that, or let's say analyze every bit of it, in this one, there's no raw mode, and the previous one there was. And as you see, MidJourney in the aesthetic, let's say principles, MidJourney was more engaged in the new one. And in here, the picture is rather basic. Now, it can be good and it can be bad. In raw mode, we need to ask MidJourney to do that and say be like, what principles to adhere to in the generation. But when raw mode is inactivated, some of the things are done by itself. You see the camera in here is, it shows more filled because I didn't ask it to, and I didn't ask it to, right? So this is the comparison when our image is generated with raw mode off or on. Thank you for being with me for this episode. Make sure you practice on different types of generation of images in MidJourney and don't just go with one mode. Go through all of them so that you can have mastery over using the whole MidJourney. That is it. I hope you're having a great time. See you. Bye-bye.